Assalamu alaikum, dear friends and fellows, how are you? I welcome you here on my training channel. My name is Abdul Khalik. There are certain tips about how to use our mind in a better way, taking advantage of the research which has been conducted in the field of psychology. I have chosen certain tips here which are highly valuable, which are so precious that I think each and everybody of us need to understand it, need to utilize it, and need to take as much of the advantage of it as it is possible. So, my dear friends and fellows, let's look upon these several and certain tips. These are only seven in number, but if at all we look upon the utility, if at all we look upon how much of the benefit it can give to us, we will come to a conclusion that indeed it is highly beneficial. Now let's look upon all that one by one. First of all, it is dedicate daily time, dedicate daily time for self reflection to unveil insightful patterns about needs, thoughts, and behavior. Yes, in short, we need to spare a bit of our time, rather, a separate time, a specific time must be dedicated on a daily basis. First of all, we can do it, at the end of the day, whatever I did right, whatever I did wrong, what was important, which should have been done, but I had failed to do, whatever was the right thing to, whatever I did rightly, etc. I think we need to pay attention to all that. We need to do the self reflection upon the whole of the day, from the morning till the evening, and that from the evening till the morning. We need to pay attention to all that. So, that is the number one thing. Now, the number two thing is monitor self talk, monitor self talk, and shift negative messages about perceived shortcomings into focused helpful progress. Monitor self talk and shift negative messages about perceived shortcomings into focused helpful progress. Yes, monitor self talk. I think this self talk, it is very very important as far the formation of our psychology is concerned, as far our either capability or lack of capability, our good performance, our bad performance, call it whatever. Mean as for the self-talk is concerned, it does play decisive role about our success, about our failure, about our good life, about our bad life, about our good relationships, about our bad relationship, about our financial abundance, about our poverty. As for the self talk is concerned, it will not be wrong at all if I say that it has tremendous power and more power than any other thing, more power than any other thing. As far this self talk is concerned, I think it must be positive, it must be constructive, it must be motivating, it must be motivational, it must be empowering one. It should not be disempowering one at all. So that is about the self talk. Self talk does play decisive role. So we need to monitor our self talk. If it is positive, we should allow it to continue. If at all it is negative, I think we need to change it. We need to reform it. So that is the second thing. As for the self talk is concerned, monitor self talk and shift negative messages about perceived shortcoming into focused, helpful progress. Now, the third thing is respond thoughtfully to emotions. Respond thoughtfully to emotions as messengers rather than perceived, rather than reacting impulsively. Use them as guides rather than directors. As for my emotion, your emotion, these should not be a director at all. These should be the guides. I think we need, these are sending us certain messages. We need to decode those messages But as for the controlling of the emotions is concerned, that is extremely important. We must control our emotion. If at all we fail to control our emotion, if at all we allow the emotion to rule our life, there will be nothing but the disaster. So we do have to protect ourselves from any sort of disaster by controlling our self talk. Self talk matters, and matters a lot really. Now the third thing is respond thoughtfully to emotion. This is the third thing. Respond thoughtfully to emotions as messengers. Now the fourth is listen deeply before forming responses. Listen deeply before forming responses when communicating with loved ones. Rather, I shall say, if at all we are communicating with anyone else, what is needed here, we need to listen patiently, we need to listen deeply, we need to listen them very well, we need to listen attentively, we need to listen actively. Then only we will be better able to understand what is the point of view of another person. And once we do understand this deeply, only then we will be able to respond, we will be able to react, we will be able to form our responses in a better way. So that fourth thing is be a very active listener before while communicating. Now the fifth is set a reasonable boundaries. Setting up reasonable boundaries for around time, around finances, emotional availability, without feeling any sort of guilt. No, look, no matter how close somebody is to us, I think there must be certain boundaries, there must be certain circle, and we do have to operate inside that circle, not beyond that. Because if at all somebody steps out of those boundaries, it actually means that they people and we people, we are not happy with each other. We are not having a win-win, a win-win partnership, a win-win relationship. So as for the boundaries are concerned, there must be the healthy boundaries, there must be the reasonable boundaries, and these boundaries must be enforced. These boundaries must be enforced, gently but firmly. Gently but firmly we need to enforce those boundaries, because that is very much important, because that is very much important. Set reasonable boundaries around time, around finances, around emotional availability, etc., without feeling guilt. On the one hand, we need to respect the boundaries of other people. On the other hand, we need to let the people know that these are my boundaries. As for my time is concerned, as for my finances are concerned, as for my emotional availability is concerned, so there are certain boundaries, and we have to operate within those boundaries and not beyond that at all. So that is the fifth thing. Now the sixth is the accept the inevitability of change and modify expectations and behavior accordingly rather than resisting. We don't need to resist the change. The change is only thing which is inevitable, which is unavoidable, which cannot be avoided at all. So why to try to resist the change? Those people who have tried to resist the change, they people have perished, but they could not stop the change. So we, instead of resisting the change, it is far better. It is far better accept the inevitability of change. And now accepting on the one hand, modify expectations and behaviors accordingly. Yes, our expectations, our behavior should be modified accordingly, accordingly, rather than resisting the change. So that is the sixth number. Now the seventh and the last is reframe failure or setback as invaluable learning opportunities to inform future approaches. As far these failures are concerned, as far these setbacks are concerned, as far these feelings of inadequacy are concerned, I think that we should be dear friends and fellows. I think we should take it as the precious, as the invaluable learning opportunities. We can learn and reform. The purpose of this is that we need to reform ourselves, and nothing else. Because if at all we fail to learn, I think we fail to modify our behavior according to the new need, according to the new situation, it will be totally and absolutely wrong. So the right thing, rather the best thing is that we need to reframe failure or setbacks as invaluable learning opportunities to inform future approaches. Failure is not bad. Failure is not bad at all. As far the setbacks are concerned, these setbacks are not bad at all. So what we are trying to do, that we need to take this thing as a great opportunity to learn. So that must be taken like that, and nothing can be avoided. I think if at all we don't take it like that, what is going to happen, that the failure will drown us. The failure will not allow us to move forward, to develop at all, because the failure itself is indeed a great opportunity. The failure itself is indeed a great lesson for us to learn and to improve and to reform ourselves. As for reforming ourselves is concerned, nothing is as good, nothing is as great as this very important and crucial thing, which is called the failure. All the great people who are known as for their great successes in the whole of the world, look upon their life. They have suffered failure many times in their lifetime, not just one, rather many of the time. So if at all we want to become a successful person, there is no other way but to embrace the failure, embracing of the failure. That is something, I think, without which we cannot survive, we cannot improve, we cannot become a better person. So the failure is not bad at all. The failure is one of the best teachers. The failure is one of the best coaches. The failure is one of the best mentors. If at all we don't take away services of these mentors and the coaches and the teachers, I think we ourselves are going to suffer, and are going to suffer a lot. Thank you very much.